My name is Jonathan. You can call me Johnny.
Hi, my name is Naomi.
We're totally thrilled to be working with some wonderful academic partners who I'm about to introduce on this brilliant project, Speak Out.
This year we've been in Manchester, in Coventry, in Sheffield, in Cornwall, in Oxfordshire, East London, Norwich, in Brighton and other places running speech-making workshops.
I didn't really know that I could end up writing a speech, but really by the points and stuff that we followed, and by the end of the session, like a speech came out of it.
Amazingly, everybody wanted to engage with us. They wanted to learn how to prepare and deliver a speech, and they all delivered a speech at the end of the workshop.
Now we are running a series of events in London and in Manchester, bringing together some of the amazing participants we worked with alongside academic and speech makers and activists to talk about the power of speech making.
The art of just getting up on a stage and reading in front of a podium, like we've heard our amazing speakers heard tonight, that's unchanged for 2,000 years.
I asked my friends a couple of days ago which were their favourite speeches of all time.
So Cicero's first Caesarean speech is amazing because it combines oratorical brilliance with a really dramatic moment in Roman history.
So the academics we're working with from East Anglia and Birmingham have a real belief that we all have the ability to speak coherently and passionately about things we believe in, but we don't necessarily have the tools. And so we've been going around asking people, what do you want to change and what do you feel passionate about and what do you love and you want other people to be doing more of?
So I'm particularly interested in improving men's mental health and encouraging men to engage with activities that they particularly enjoy.
It is the most perfect thing that you can give anybody is the right to express their own case rationally, calmly, civilly and highly persuasively and cogently.
I'm here to talk about intolerance. But don't worry, this isn't a speech about lactose or gluten. I want to talk about intolerance towards people just because of who they are. Because of who they love, because of who they want to be. How do we deal with intolerant people?
Food, heating, transport, toiletries, the internet, light. These things we would call essential to our everyday life. Yet 90% of households receiving universal credit have gone without at least one of these in the past year.
We've been to such a variety of communities. We've been to homeless charities, to a deaf community, we've been inside women's prison, we've been to schools, we've been to community centres.
My name is Morale and I'm a refugee. It's not something that I necessarily want, but unfortunately this is my story. As a deaf girl growing up in Iran, it was really tough for me getting on with my everyday life.
Deaf and disabled are not seen as political, but as people to be helped.
Politicians need to listen to normal people having political views, not listen to focus groups, but listening to people who actually have a view, but also have a proposition.
I grew up as a working class kid in social housing.
Let's smash open those doors again. Bring back the transformative spirit that filled 1 million homes and start building better futures for all.
It's so extraordinary and inspiring to hear the voices of the people we've worked with, how passionate they are, how they're all committed to making the country better.
Part of what this project has been about, for me, has been about giving people voice, but it's also therefore been about giving me the chance to hear those voices. I've learned such a lot.
A lot of the people who are in positions of authority and power are also responsible for some of the reasons why we're going for help. And so we need to appeal to them in the way that, yeah, we disagree with you, but we recognise the power that you hold.
In 1988, Margaret Thatcher forced educators into the closet by introducing Section 28, a law banning the promotion of homosexuality in schools. I was born a year later, in 1989, and I finished school in 2005. I didn't have any LGBT people in my life, and I had no education about us in schools. I felt like I was wrong or broken.
Out of 38 students in my drama school, 4 of us were black. 2 of us dropped out before the end of term. And somehow now, I've ended up on the advertising photos. But my blackness is not a marketing strategy. We need to make diversity real.
Hearing the impact it had on other people, especially I made some eye contact with some people of color in the audience, and I could just really see that the words resonated with them, which just really made me feel good about the speech, and just also that it's important, and the subjects that I was talking about is also important and very personal to people as well.
It's such an exhilarating feeling when you see the words that you've written down on the page actually make the impact that you really hope they would on so many people. It felt wonderful.
When I expressed my desire to be an actor, the first thing my family said was, acting is not an honorable profession for a woman. I've already told you that I'm officially enrolled on a master's degree in economics. But there is something I have not told you. Since 2021, I have been training as an actor. I won't allow any force in this world to set an expiry date on my dreams.
You've put your emotions into it, and you're being vulnerable at the same time on stage. So yeah, it was a totally different experience for me.
We must make special educational needs testing accessible and undeniable.
I've done public speaking before, but it's never been like this.
Rosebank is in fact the name of the UK's largest underdeveloped oil field. And Rishi Sunak has given the go-ahead to start drilling it.
It was amazing because it's so different rehearsing it to just a small group of people than it is to performing it to a full venue, because it's just an entirely different atmosphere.
You know, it's just not on the curriculum, and people aren't given these kind of tools to be articulate.
If I had been given this extra support, I would have stayed in school and got my GCSE maths and English. I would be accomplishing my dreams of working in performing arts. I would never have ended up in prison.
I'm just a normal person, living my everyday life. I'm not necessarily involved in politics, I'm not an activist by any means.
We've had to hear a lot of difficult stories, a lot of alternative experiences, a lot of lived experience that's very different to my own. But I think it's really, really important that we make sure we make spaces for these stories.
It's good to actually come and sort of hear things which I wouldn't normally hear about or normally come across. You know, I think most people, I get my information from either standard news sources or from social media a lot of the time. And this format was very different from what I normally would hear, and because of that I'm able to engage with things a lot in a more deeper way.
Your Honour, I demand an end to sentencing pregnant women to prison.
I thought it was really great to hear the young people and to hear what they've written in a short space of time. Everyone had so many different things to talk about, whether it was food banks or poverty in their local community.
The pretty postcard tourist destination. That's how the people who make decisions see Cornwall, and that's not how it is.
Speak Out was just the beginning. We are taking all those wonderful inspirations and ideas, and we're going to take them into the studio and we're going to play with them and somehow or other turn them into a play that will be a kind of state of the nation play, asking who we are as a country and who we want to be.
We've had such an amazing time running speeches and working with people across the country. We want to do more of it.
The connections that I've made here tonight, they're valuable now, and also a confidence in myself, and this comfort in the fact that I can be vulnerable in front of an audience and still not feel weak about it.
It was a brilliant evening, and it was fantastic to meet everybody, and I think if you could have locked us all in and made us all stay and talk to each other, we'd probably have all been here till about 2 in the morning.